Welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. We are going to continue our flight into the deep of this language, my native tongue. And okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I have a little bit of creator block or burnout a little bit after I've done over almost 1.5 years, right? Producing one episode a day. So I'm thinking of how to improve this. If you're thinking, give me some feedbacks if I'm getting lengthier, like not as succinct as much, because I notice my episodes are getting longer. Please let me know. I really, really want to explore the meaning of the words, the visuals, the sound, not so much emphasis, but mostly from the visuals, from the background of how it came into being and how we connect the dots, and to make sense of how Chinese making meaning from the visuals. So I try to explain everything, and sometimes I may overkill that, may over-explain. So let me know if you think that's the case. Okay, so last time we talked about three same sound, exactly same sound, about three different versions of different characters, 伶俐, 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 and each of them have their slightly different well, I shouldn't say slightly, but each one is distinctively, they visually look different. Therefore, they have different backgrounds, different stories. And for Chinese ears, even if they hear 伶俐, and given the context, what things that people are talking about, we have no problem of distincting which 伶俐 you're hearing, even if they sound exactly the same. Okay, so today we continue with 雷厉风行. Okay, 雷厉风行 is a commonly used Chinese expression that we hear a lot, especially I guess especially in school setting, that teachers kind of encouraging students to be better performers, or in companies, your boss is talking to you about, okay, please just cut it. Please have better performance, like a faster efficiency or something like that. So this 雷厉风行, when we tied our human actions to the natural phenomenon, weather conditions, one is thunder, one is wind, we kind of see ourselves there is an expression in English called personification. So it's natural things, non-human things. We personify it as if give it a human feature, character, feeling. So this is the reverse of that. Is shall we say, it's a weatherization. We are describing human behaviors using weather elements. So it's the other way. Okay, let's go to each one. 雷, thunder. It has this rain symbol on the top. So thunder often comes with a rain, right? So ancient language creators make that dot connect. So in the thunder character, definitely we have a rain symbol. And the rain, simply the horizontal line is the sky, and vertical line means it's going down. So give you a spatial sense and where the direction it goes. And here, the big arch is almost like the huge space you as a human on planet face in face of sky to give you this whole spherical idea of it's between you and the sky, right? So this is the spacer, and then the tiny dots symbolizing the raindrops of there. So it's everything filled between the sky and the earth, or you observer. So that's the idea. Versus, okay, I remember when I first started learning Chinese as a native speaker, as a way to lead young kids to visualize their characters. This rain, because it's very visual, it's very easy to understand, but the textbook says, okay, this is your window pane. It's your, like, what you see from home, from your domestic perspective, like you're sheltered, and then you have a, therefore you have a window or something, and you can see outside the window pane, there are rains falling down. So that's a way for kids, easy to remember, but really it's beyond your human shelter level. So this is the whole space between you on the planet and the sky. So this is the whole, I guess, atmospherical sphere rather than your window pane. Okay, so here are the three, almost like a spoke, right? The circles, it looks like circles with a cross in between. Originally, it was like an even older version of this character, have the bottom looks like this instead of this. So this is already a simplification of the previous version. So it was 6, now it was down to 3, and it was drawn different. Look at this. If you look at some of the ancient Chinese, like wall paintings or some ancient artifacts, you may occasionally see that, like clothing, decoration, sometimes see that. And now when learning this character, I finally got it. Okay, so this is ancient language creators symbolizing. So the circle with a cross in between is probably the sound of it. And then, or, I mean, I would imagine language creator use 3 of them. Vertically, is each column is 3, right? And the middle one is a different symbol. That means from the starting point of this thunder, you hear the thunder. I mean, you see the lightning, right? And then you hear the thunder. And there is dot connection over there, even without the physical knowledge of how sound and light travel at different speed. Ancient people could observe the phenomenon of, you see the lightning first. So this is the first cross, the lightning, and then atmospherically, something travel to you, right? So this is kind of a travel from A to B. So A is the cloud, the thunder happening location. And this B is your ear, your receiving end. And then there is somewhere atmospherical in between. So that describes the weather condition or the weather phenomena that you see the lightning first, and then you hear the thunder. Okay, so that's describing the natural phenomenon of thunder. That's okay. Finally, in the end, you hear it in your ears. So that's thunder. And wind, we talked about wind before, and me as a contemporary simplified Chinese learner user, and I just see this, and this again looks like a window pane, and then diagonal lines. This looks like, okay, things are moving, things are not stable. Normally, Chinese character would write things vertically, horizontally, only this way. But when it goes this way, it gives you a sense of unstable, right? That's my explanation when seeing the simplified Chinese. But actually, the ancient Chinese came from a totally different origin. I wasn't so keen on looking into the characters, the ancient forms. So now I'm traveling deeper into the universe of Chinese. So this came, okay, so this symbol we have seen before. We've seen this character that kind of in a more streamlined version or more squared version of it. It means it. So it means non-human. It refers to non-human creatures. So it's a type of, not exactly animal, because when we think of animal, we think of 4-legged animals, right? But this is something in a soft form. So it actually means worms, tiny soft body, spineless worms. And this symbol, we use it eventually to refer to any non-human but a living, that's a mobile, that can move things. So that's it. Okay, so it came from this worm sign, and the top portion, somebody say it's like a mold, and then visually it looks like to me that it is some container, and then it opens up, and it means the worm crawl out from it, and I guess we can imagine that the worm kind of had this transformation from its the bud, almost like its incubator, a closed environment for the worm to grow to a certain maturity level, and then the worm break from it and come out as a moving, haunting kind of creature out there, right? So this describes the process of the worm actually breaks through its former incubator and going out. So that why it's about wind, okay? It's because the language creators observe the season when the winds start to pick up. Because in winter times, atmospherically, in winter times, it's top down, kind of vertical movement of because it's a snow, either snow or in the summer it's rain, so it's kind of vertical moving. But the wind is horizontal moving of air from one direction to another, right? And we know that it relates to seasonal change. So when temperature is changing drastically, so like winter to springtime, when things are warming up, and then there is this contrast of temperature from different locations, right? Then horizontally things start to move. And during that horizontal moving, which is the wind season, that's when the worms start to break out from their shell or from their little eggs, and then they come out. So that timing of when wind start to pick up and when the worms start to come out to the world, that's a concur. So we use one event to describe another one. Makes sense, right? Okay, and Li we talked about is a two-hand symbol, and I couldn't tell what that one is, but it seems like, okay, look, this is a sphere or this is a circle, not fully closed, but with a X in the middle, versus this one with like a cross in the middle. So this is a natural element, right? Marking the sound or the lightning. And this one is also probably marking something. I would imagine it could mark the sound of when you're sharpening the knife, because the whole thing originated from this top. Okay, this top corner shows a cliff, and when Chinese characters show a cliff, oftentimes they're associated with something stone, because there's rise above the ground. A lot of times that cliff or some sort of mountain, higher rising structure have stones on them, right? So that relates to stone, and with both hands and with the sound of sort of like a sandstone to sharpen knife. So this is sharpening. This is the origin, like knife sharpening action. Okay, so now we kind of can connect. We have thunder, natural phenomenon, sharp, and we can kind of see from the symbols. So that sound and this sound, two kind of sharp sound, right? One is from nature, one is from your knife sharpening, kind of can be compared. And now the wind, so wind means horizontally moving, right? And this sign simply is footsteps, left and right, two foot, and you walk 3 times. So Chinese, when we repeat 3 times, is infinity, almost like X number of times. It's a variable. You don't specify how many steps, but 3 is enough to show you a recurring pattern of footsteps going forward. So that means that you're going, definitely you see the progression of going from places. And here, 行 simply means you're moving. So as if you are moving as wind. So horizontal moving spatially from A to B, right? As if you're wind. So wind, because we know wind definitely travels, I shouldn't say definitely, most often wind, if humans, we sense wind, it's definitely not a kind of a breeze, like a lightly wind, but more strong wind. So probably that's an indication of a strong wind, faster speed wind. So try to move as swiftly as wind horizontally. And this sharp is try to action with accent, like sharp, almost like a jerky movement, as if it's a thunder to kind of wake you up. It's very, very sharp. So 雷厉风行 basically is describing human behavior, doing whatever tasks that the behavior, the body language of that action is sharp, is accented. It's not like a slow, smooth moving, but it's as sharp as thunder to kind of give you that sound effect, and as swiftly moving horizontally. So when you're approaching tasks, doing things, this is often used 雷厉风行 to ask you to act quickly with accents so that people see you're almost like performing, right? See you move fast, you really make things happening. So that's 雷厉风行. And I only choose one English word, swift, to describe that's the expectation that you're expected to move swiftly, not as smoothly. So there are in dance language, there are different movement quality. So the smooth one is one type, and the other one is the sharp one, almost like a jerky one, that you have to instantly tighten your muscle to make the accent. So this definitely is the expectation from either the teacher, student, or boss to employees, that you're expected to move with a certain accent, with a certain jerkiness, and swiftly, as if it's wind blowing. So that's 雷厉风行, and I'm using this natural phenomenon to show the sense of moving, the swiftness, and maybe it looks a little bit dizzying, but regardless of the visual effect, it gives you the sense of what we associate. 雷厉风行 it's a natural phenomenon, so this is kind of a visual expression to show it's we tie our human language, body language of behavior to the natural phenomenon of thunders and wind. Okay, cashing into the currency of thinking about one word a day with Sophie. See you another day.